As of this morning, Morgan, I think you've got it stated accurately. Domestic flights are starting to move. International flights, uh, more. The airports are open. They're starting to move, but the schedules have still been disrupted. And look, in the wake of this sort of thing, there will be a succession battle simply because the leadership was taken out. Uh, the distribution networks in over 40 countries remain. There was a structure below Mencho that suggests 3 or 4 possible successors.
Hmm.
These things can take weeks, months at times. There'll be a little uncertainty within that cartel that, as you know, had become a very significant presence in the country in the wake of the weakening of the Sinaloa cartel, which traditionally had been the dominant one in the country. So it's certainly a situation that we'll be, monitoring, watching closely. I would encourage people, certainly as we go into the month of March and April, where it's spring break time for Americans, to be looking at those travel advisories and perhaps rethinking some of their plans.
Hmm.
Large parts of the country will be, returned to somewhat normal.
What we see here is I believe that Mexico did the wrong thing by taking out El Mencho. I believe they should have captured him and not take him out. It's because now they took him out, but the money will keep flowing for the cartel, but also too, it's going to do more damage to Mexico. Now these cartels are going to be targeting all the things that Mexico needs to make money. They've already been telling people through social media, don't come here. You have spring break coming up. You have the World Cup coming up. They have so many places and so many things that they can disrupt. So it's messing up the money for Mexico. Mexico last year made $281 billion in tourism alone. Now, don't you think this number is going to go down? So many people are not going to be coming to Mexico because, like he said, this takeover or this restructuring of their cartel and other cartels going back and forth can last weeks, months, maybe even years. This all hurts Mexico. I believe they overcalculated taking out El Mencho because now they don't have any leverage. If they would have captured him, then maybe they can go back and forth. They would have had peace during negotiations, blah, blah, blah. But taking them out completely gives Mexico no leverage. So now what you see now amongst the cartel and all the videos, they're attacking everything that makes money. They've been blowing up gas stations. They blew up a Costco, blowing up buses, blowing up semi trucks, telling people you better stay in place. So now that means what? People are canceling their plans going to Mexico because it's unsafe. I really feel like Mexico overthought this one. This is what happens when you use emotion. You're thinking with emotion, but you forgot. Yes, we don't want him here. He's part of the biggest cartel. Let's capture him. So then we can get the other routes and everything like that. Taking him out does completely nothing. They have 40 different countries where they have different routes and destinations, what he said in the video. So taking El Mencho out, what does that do to the routes? Nothing. What I kind of go back and forth and talk about this. You ever watch the Avengers, right? Hydra, right? Cut off the head of one, 3 will pop up. That's going to happen. I believe this is worse. It's going to be worse and worse in Mexico. What you're going to hear a lot of people say, oh, it's okay, safe to fly, safe to come in, because they need to change the image real quick because they don't want to stop the money from coming in. But with the rise of social media, with people actually talking about it while being there, they're scaring a lot of people to canceling their plans. So I just think that they miscalculated. They miscalculated. That's the reason why we look at President Trump. People be like, well, why didn't he take out Maduro? No, he captured him. He captured him because they still have him. So now the people in Venezuela, that current leadership, would do what he says. It's more important when you have the person than completely taking them out, because they're not going to stop, things from flowing. They're going to bring in another successor. They're going to bring in somebody else. They've already been talking to social media over various options of various people they want to replace them with. So the money's going to keep rolling. The drugs going to keep rolling. But I think Mexico overstepped this one. I think this does more to Mexico than it does to the cartel, to be honest. Yes, they may have lost their head member, but they didn't lose their routes. They didn't lose their destinations. They didn't lose their money. What did they lose? They lost a person. If we just break it down to simple, they didn't lose any money. They didn't lose any routes. They just lost a person. So I believe that you shouldn't be going to Mexico for a quite long time, because this stuff is going to take a long time. You might have fighting within the cartel. You might have fighting against other cartels. and you're there on vacation or a wedding or whatever, thinking everything's peachy. No, this is why you have to appreciate if you are America, or if you are American, appreciate being American, right? Because right now it's a war zone. It's a war zone for sure, Mexico.
But they ought to be watching those advisories and
Okay.
not leaving their common sense at the border.
Yeah, I wonder if we're starting to hit a tipping point in terms of the Mexican government under President Scheinbaum's, you know, crackdown on the cartels, because this has been going on
More,
for a year, but it's obviously ratcheting up now. You have the support, including the intelligence sharing of the U.S. in the mix here, too. What does it take to actually see a fundamental shift in terms of who's running the country and what that looks like with the cartels?
Morgan, you make two very good points. One, it suggests a level of commitment from this administration that is the most significant directionally that we have seen in almost a decade. Uh, what it takes to do, what it takes operationally in terms of the coordination with the U.S. on this is profound. The capacity to share not only information and not only intelligence, but intelligence real time with a counterparty, which is what I understand happened here, suggests a level of trust that is being built up operationally between the U.S. and Mexico that is impressive and significant. What it's going to take longer term is a continued commitment to this. There will be violence in the wake of a takeout like this, but it sends a very clear signal, I think, that Claudia Scheinbaum has pivoted away from her predecessor's approach to these issues and taken drawn a very clear line as to organizations like this and their existence in the country.
I think the Mexican president, she miscalculated. I believe she was under immense pressure from President Trump and the U.S. obviously because of the fentanyl crisis, because of illegal immigrations, people crossing over the border. But what she should have did was she should have authorized, if that's what you want to do, you want to target him, capture. Do not take him out. Because I believe you would have got things done faster and more efficient if you would have captured him. Because he is the leader still. Even though he may be in prison, even though he may be captured by the government, he still is the leader. So now you're building a relationship of negotiating, and now you have the leader to go back and forth and get this thing done more efficiently without all of the killings and without all the destruction. But since you took out El Mencho, you don't have any ties or anything to the current new leadership of that, because this is a large cartel. This is not just this is a large cartel with multiple people in multiple places. And I believe now you're back to square one. But in that time where you're trying to find another link or trying to get another person out of that cartel, how much money will you lose? Will they can reconsider having the World Cup in Mexico because of all of the things they see on TV? So don't be fooled. Like I said, you're going to see a lot of push. Mexico's safe. Come here, come here, come here. The reason why is because they know they made a mistake and they know they're going to lose billions and billions of tourism money. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Monday through Friday, 10:21 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We got the No Filter Morning Show. Tap into that. I appreciate you guys, and I'm out.